Weekends are scheduled and we're about to start here at the Hungaroring. We didn't have a champion in 2020, of course, due to the pandemic, and with the last race at Misano cancelled. So 6 times titleist Jochen Hahn still carries the #1 on his Iveco, and will he be able to achieve a 7th title? We will see. We do have 50 entries, great competition at all, and this is the first welcome of Norbert Kisch, the local hero driving for the Hungarian team called Reves. Since last year, we've got 5 pairings driving in the team competition. The new pairing is the MAN Teams Tour, and also last year, due to the shortened series, not fully acknowledged the new manufacturer on board with Team Tankpool 24, Team Scania new on the grid. And we do have the new Iveco S-Way NP Pace truck, and of course we do see the new Iveco S-Way trucks on the grid with the Team Schwaben Truck Team Hahn Racing. And the FIA European Truck Racing Championship will be the first of the FIA race series using HVO biofuel of the latest generation. And I'm very happy to have you at my side, Rolf Werner, Managing Director of the FIA ETRC. Finally, we're back on the grid. And how difficult was it to create a setup due to all this, due to all the restriction, of course, of the COVID pandemic?
Well, we had last year, it was quite a disaster, but now we see we will have 7 weekends this year with 8 events. At Nürburgring it will be a double event. Everybody is very optimistic, everybody is in a good mood, and we're looking forward with much pleasure. We are so glad that it begins again.
And we are as well, and as you are joining us, and we are ahead of the first qualifying. What is important right now for the truck drivers?
Well, now it counts. From now on it counts. We had 2 free practices, and now it counts for the grid of the first race, and the cards must be opened now, and looking forward who has the fastest car and who is in the best shape. It's quite exciting. Nobody knows who will win at the end for the qualifying, but let's wait and see. Quite exciting, yes.
They've got 20 minutes right now, and then afterwards they will be qualifying for the Super Pole, so another 10 minutes for the first entries to be racing. And the Hungaroring is very special, lots of curves, and so it is very important to get a best qualifying. What do you say about the track itself?
Well, it's a Formula 1 track. It's a highlight in our year's calendar. We are very happy to be here. It's a beautiful track, very good conditions. Not so easy to overtake, but it's very exciting, and it will be great fun.
Thank you very much. We will be staying out outside during this live event, and now we have a look at the trucks, and we welcome our commentators. We've got Chess Reichert for the English commentary position, and Joachim Eberts with the German commentary position for you. So as we say in Hungary, heute, heute, heute. So let's go.
Thank you very much, Christina. Thank you very much indeed. Welcome, everybody, to this wonderful series and the start of our fantastic 2021 campaign. My name is Chaz Dracott, as you have heard there, and we have some beautiful, beautiful conditions out there at the very famous Hungaroring, a circuit that was completed in 1986, and it was actually, out of all the Formula 1 circuits, as mentioned there, it is a Formula 1 circuit, the Hungaroring. It was actually only built in 8 months. It's much less and much quicker than any other Formula 1 circuit in terms of its construction. But here are the vehicles themselves, looking absolutely phenomenal and ready to go. That's the number 41 there of Norbert Kisch, the Hungarian driver, the home hero here. And he will lead them away at the start of the session. This will be the first qualifying session of the season. Then he's got the number 1 of Jochen Hahn just behind him there, following him out onto the circuit. And everybody will get things underway in the best way possible. But as mentioned there, you know, Christina said that there are a lot of very tight and twisty corners on this circuit. It's very difficult to overtake here. And it's actually been likened to, it's been nicknamed Monaco without the buildings sometimes, this circuit, because it is so narrow in places and so difficult to overtake. There's very much only one line that you can take around a lot of these corners. But you can see everybody taking to the circuit and just getting used to the conditions. They have had 2 practice sessions this morning, which we were very, very lucky to keep our eye on. And it looked like Norbert Kish is definitely the guy to watch at the moment. As I've called him, the home hero. Obviously knows this place like the back of his hand and wants to make sure that he gets a decent home result to start the campaign off. You see them all just taking their time at the moment, just getting used to the conditions, getting used to the circuit itself. It changes so much, especially when the temperatures are good like they are here. It can go one way or the other very quickly. It can heat up like mad, and it can cool down again. There's the number 30 of Sasha Lenz, just leaving the pit lane as well. You can see the 77 truck there as well. Blue and green machine with René Reiner at the wheel. And the noise these trucks make is absolutely phenomenal as well. A lot of tyre squeal as well you will hear over the course of these races. And of course any other sessions that you join us for. We also have the onboard cameras as well, as you can see here. Theo Calve in the number 20 Freightliner. Now the Freightliners are quite easily distinguishable compared to a lot of the other trucks, the MANs, the Ivecos as well, because they have the long nose on the front. They don't have the cab all the way over the front of the truck, you see. So you can tell them apart by having that big long front nose. There is the number 41 though of Norbert Kish, coming towards the end of his first lap. Jochen Hahn right behind him though in the Iveco S-Way. He made that change a few seasons ago from MAN to Iveco. And he had a bit of a difficult championship to begin with when he first made that change. But since then, it's been all good for the 6-time champion, looking for his 7th title this year. He's champion in 2011, 12, 13. He was runner-up in 2014 and 15. Won it again in 2016. And then was runner-up again in 2017. And then won it again in 18 and 19. So in the last 10 years, or at least the last 9 years, because we didn't have an official champion crowned last year, in the last 9 years, he has been either first or second in the championship. So one to watch, a bit of an understatement. Anyway, they get qualifying properly underway, then they scream their way down the straight towards the downhill turn 1 here at the Hungaroring. Very difficult corner to get right. Just to slow the truck down very aggressively on the brakes. Down on the exit. You see the incredible speeds that these things do out of the corner. They accelerate from 20 to 100 miles an hour in the same time as a Porsche 911 GT3 RS. They are so potent, it's unbelievable. Mountains of torque, as you can expect. Over 1,200 horsepower. And I believe the torque figure is over 5,000 Newton meters. It's absolutely crazy. I got sent a lot of the specifications and regulations and things, obviously, when I was told that I'd be commentating this series. And I couldn't believe my eyes for a lot of it. It's absolutely amazing. They weigh 5.3 tons. And over 3 tons of that has to be measured over the front wheels. So 3 tons of weight alone is over the front axle. But you can see them all now spread out, just getting their own bit of ground and their own bit of clear air. On board with Theo Calve, the Frenchman, and the number 20 Freightliner. He's part of the Bagheera team. There's 3 of these Freightliners in the field. There's Theo Calve, Alia Koloc, and Adam Lachko. Numbers 20, 29, and 55. They're also distinguishable via their different coloured wing mirrors and light covers, as I've seen. Theo Calve has the blue wing mirrors and light covers. Alia Koloc has the orange, and Adam Lachko has yellow. There you can see Adam, the number 55 machine. There is the 44 just behind him, Steffi Halm. But look, you can see there the bright yellow, fluoro yellow you could call it. Highlights all over the 55 truck. You can see a bit of understeer through the left-hander there. But here's Norbert Kish looking to make an impression on his home crowd in the very pretty number 41 Reves Racing Team truck. Jochen Hahn just behind as well. Across the line they go then. It's a 2:18.3 for Kish at the moment, a 2:19.8 for Hahn. Lachko goes 1.1 seconds back into second place with a 2:19.4. But Norbert Kish setting the pace early on. over 2 minutes a lap here. They're almost a minute slower than a Formula One car around here, but I tell you what, they certainly look just as good doing it. This is Theo Calve. Seemingly, is he just getting out of the way for another competitor behind him? He seems to be going slowly on the way in. He is. Struggled to catch who that was there. I think that was Heinrich Clemens Hecker in the number 25 machine. There is the white and yellow number 11 of Andrei Kurzim. Going around turn 1 as well. But it's Kish from Lachko, Hahn, Alberthetti and Halm at the moment. Steffi Halm, the number 44. Absolute star of the championship is Steffi. Great to have female racers within the FIA European Truck Racing Championship. But there are your top 10 on the left-hand side. You can see them now making their way back up the hill. Lachko and Hahn is a real good battle to watch as this championship develops. Here's a little replay of a moment for Lachko, slightly sideways through the right kink there just towards the end of the lap. That might have cost him a bit of time there. Lenz has gone second fastest. You saw earlier that Lenz was a bit later out of the pit lane than everybody else. He seemed to give it a bit of clear air and a bit of time before he went out. You can see, look, there's the gap back to the number 11 of Kurzim. But we still do not see the number 30 in shot. He's all the way further back. I think the truck even further back from that is not even him either. He's in a bright green and black machine. Now, here's a truck I was really excited to see. This is the number 17 machine. This is Shane Brereton, British driver for Tor Truck Racing, TOR. Very bright purple Apollo liveried machine. Looks brilliant. It's a brand new truck for this year, and they're really looking forward to taking on the opposition. As he said, taking on the elite and the top teams in this championship. Now here is Lenz, exactly a second off the top spot at the moment. But he's got lots of clear air around him at the moment. In the number 30 SL Truck Sport machine. You can see the chicane there as well. Still using the chicanes like the Formula One cars do as well. These things are incredibly agile. They're on Goodyear tyres. Of course, one of the main partners of the championship. Now here is Brereton into turn 1. You can see the lean there through turn 1. Gets on the power. You hear the turbos whistle. If anybody's a turbo enthusiast, then you will certainly love listening to these things. Shane Brereton dips the nose down onto the brakes. Again, downhill through turn 2. Long, sweeping left-hander. You need to make sure that you get the truck tucked over to the left-hand side. Foot down hard. Chuck it through the kink. Don't take any more of the curb than you need to. You don't want to upset the truck too much. And back up the hill he goes. This is number 20, Theo Calve, just coming across the line. As mentioned earlier, blue wing mirrors, blue light covers. Hard on the power out of turn 1 he goes. Down towards turn 2. Now this is one of the Freightliners that I mentioned. You can see it's got a sort of snout on it. It's got the nose away from the windscreen. Great looking thing. I absolutely love the look of these Freightliners. You can see still quite a bit of body roll on these things, but they're very, very flat most of the time. We go on board now with Theo Calve. He goes up the hill towards the left kink. Now, a kink like this in a truck must be such a scary prospect because it's not a slow corner at all. And you can see him really chucking it through there as it gets a little bit of a wobble on mid-corner. And a long, long right-hander. Very difficult corner to get right, turn 5. Into the chicane at 6 and 7. Not using too much of it. You can see some of the bollards there used for track limits. Pretty long right. You can see a lot of them already coming into the pits at this point. They've set their times, and it seems like that's what they're going to be happy with, really. You can see that the weather absolutely wonderful here. It is beaming it down with sunshine at the moment. You can see the 41 and the 1, the closest to us, as Brereton has crossed the line. And he is currently 11th fastest, 3.4 seconds off pole position. And as mentioned there as well, we have 100% renewable HVO diesel, which powers all of these race trucks. They do actually have a black smoke rule as well. Basically, if there is black smoke visible from any of the trucks, you get a warning for your first infringement, and you get excluded from the race for a second warning. So they really do focus on making sure that not only the racing is clean itself, but the racing is clean, if you get what I mean. There is the number 41. You can see the huge turbocharger and massive engine in these trucks in the back there. And number 77 of René Reinhardt. Bright blue and green machine. Very hard to miss. And of course the 11 of Andrei Kurzim. Kurzim currently at the moment is in 9th place, 2.9 seconds off the fastest time. You can see team members working hard there to make sure that they take note of everything they can and keep things above board. That's the 25 of Heinrich Clemens Hecker, the German, in his MAN. Not that you can't tell that by the humongous MAN logo on the front. That's what I love about these sorts of vehicles. Everything is big. Everything is big and bold and beautiful. It really is. I'm not sure on the colour of Heinrich's truck, but it's his choice and not mine. He's the one driving it, not me. As you see there, though, he's nearly 5 seconds off the top time at the moment. Now, it's a good time to mention that we do have 2 classes this season, as we have had in previous classes. There is the Titan class and the Chrome class. So, basically, when you get the Chrome class, you're either a driver that's new to the championship or hasn't sort of built up a certain number of accolades. Drivers then move up to Titan class when they have either been an ETRC champion in the last 10 years, or if they have finished in the top 8 last season, overall that is, and if they've finished at any point better than 6th in any Super Pole session from the previous season. There are other different sort of categorization rules as well, but they're the main ones. This is the number 86 of Tom O'Rourke, racing for MV Commercial Truck Racing this season. And a very pretty white machine, big black strip down the side of it, and of course some of the red highlights as well, he says as he colours in his little spotter's guide. But this is the real joy of learning a new championship for me. You know, I thoroughly enjoy seeing the drivers, seeing the trucks, and comparing liveries and getting used to how they all look. You know, the aesthetic of vehicles like this is so important, and the drivers really do take pride in that as well. They're really happy to make sure that their vehicles look the best in the series. I mean, I've known drivers previously that have even said, "Oh, I don't care if it's not fastest. You know, if it looks good, then I'm happy." Which to me seems bonkers, but at the same time, you know, we all appreciate it. So O'Rourke has plenty of clear air around him at the moment. Then one of the only trucks on track as things stand. I think we still have... No, Teo Calve's just come into the pits now. We have the number 33 still out on track of Jamie Anderson as well. And here is the 29 of Alia Koloc. Very young female driver in the championship. She's been a real revelation. She was the youngest ever ETRC entrant at the age of 16. She's already been involved in other forms of circuit racing, Dakar trucks as well. All with Bagheera Racing, who she's racing for here. Now, I must mention as well, away from the other classes, there is what's known as the Goodyear Cup, or the Promoters Cup, as it was previously known. It's basically a championship within the championship created by ETRA. The category for Chrome-rated drivers is dedicated to new talent into the series, but I believe right now we have Christina with one of the drivers.
Not the drivers, but I'm sure somebody who's in official charge right now, let's say. Welcome, Tim. So Antonio Albacete is ranked 5th right now. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, really happy. We worked really hard in the winter, and you know, Antonio is an absolute legend, so he can just jump in a truck and be consistent every time. So from that side, we're growing as a team, and we're hopeful that we can increase in Superpole now. So yeah, keep our fingers crossed and see what happens.
So we wait until the Superpole because you're really happy right now with the first swing.
I'm really nervous as well, so yeah, I don't sleep at all last night, so we'll see what happens in the next 15 minutes. So yeah, should be good.
Thank you very much. I didn't sleep either, Chaz. I don't know about you.
Yeah, to be fair, it was quite an early start for me here in the UK as well, but still very excited to be up. And to be honest, I often get up at the crack of dawn anyway. I blame that on the fact that I've got a son. But we've got the 86 at the moment of Tom O'Rourke still flying around here, almost lifting the front wheel off the ground as he chucks it through turn 5. Great to watch. Down towards the chicane, but it's still Norbert Kish, obviously fastest at the moment. We have the Chrome drivers out on track at the moment. Brereton has moved up to 12th place with his previous lap, displacing Hecker and Koloch. O'Rourke, unfortunately, bottom of the pile at the moment with no final time on the board. There's the number 29 machine of Koloch. 14th at the moment, 5.9 seconds off pole position. You can see there as he changes up a gear, just the rear wheels just dig in and kick all of that traction through the tarmac, trying to spin up the rear wheels. It's absolutely phenomenal to watch these things because you'd expect them, with their weight and with their overall size, to be so planted and so stable on the ground, but they dance around and move just like any other racing machine that you could see, any touring car or GT car. They share very similar body language. And you can see now Elia just flying up towards the kink. The left-hand kink very quick there at turn 4. Plenty of runoff if you get it wrong, of course. You can hear the Goodyear tyres working hard. Here's a replay of Norbert Kish in the 41. That looks to me like he's really working that front right tyre to the best of its ability. Around turn 2 he goes. Jochen Hahn chasing him down as well. But that is what's known as understeer, unfortunately. As O'Rourke has crossed the line, but he's some 13 seconds off at the moment. Just trying to find his pace, I believe. I think he might have had an issue on his first lap, which is why he was then in the pits for quite a while. Still in love with the noise these things make. Back up then towards the kink again for O'Rourke. Doesn't look to me like he's on a fast lap here. Maybe just using this as an in lap. Still, the the MV commercial machine looking very good indeed. He's going to be hoping to at least make some progress during the races, of which we have 4 this weekend. We have qualifying, then Superpole, and then we have 2 races today. And then we have all of the same tomorrow. Plenty coming up this weekend from the FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Number 44 there with the big tiger on the door. That's Steffi Halm. Like I've said, she's an absolute star of the championship. Won a race which I was watching just yesterday at Le Mans, at the Bugatti circuit at Le Mans. A fantastic race there where she held on from the very front to take a great victory. And now we see O'Rourke on his way in. His qualifying has come to an end now. 20 minutes really does fly by, doesn't it? But it's more airtime for the MV commercial machine. Unfortunately, though, he'll need to improve with his times to get further up the order in the race. But as we've all seen before, qualifying is very different to the race. Track position is easier to visualize than time in thin air. Into the pits comes O'Rourke. And not long from now, we will be getting Super Pole underway, the very first Super Pole session of the season. There you can see the checkered flag being waved, just in case there is anybody else still coming through. You can see the truck of Sasha Lenz there, and there is somebody else coming through. It's the number 33 machine of Jamie Anderson, who flies across the line. And his lap time was not an improvement, unfortunately. He did a 2:21.8, which was only half a tenth of a second off his fastest time, but no improvement there from Jamie Anderson, unfortunately. But that now means that we wait for Jamie to make his way back round before the Super Pole session. And the wonderful Team Low and Power branded machine as well. Anderson Commercials obviously up the side of it. Some of the liveries very, very lovely to see. And of course, very nice and bold as well. There's plenty of real estate on these vehicles for the drivers to turn into a tasty livery. And as a real livery nut, let me tell you, I'm enjoying it. They certainly do look good. There's the 25 machine as well. Heinrich Clemens Hecker still out on track. I believe he's just finished his previous lap as well. He has indeed. That's him now coming down towards turn 2. The noise of the downshifts on these things really gets me as well. They have this sort of pop as the turbo then suddenly spools back into life as they get in the rev range where the turbocharger is most active. Of course, all of these engines and everything tuned to be not just as efficient as possible, but to manage the power as well as possible. And there we have the number 23 machine of Antonio Albertetti, a real staple in the driver entry list of this championship. He's been around in the championship for a long, long time as Albertetti. Always entertaining, always fast. And he's had a very, very thorough career. The age of 56 this year, Antonio. And he shows no signs whatsoever of slowing down. And now the officials will try and get the Super Pole session underway, which will set the top couple of positions on the grid then. So drivers basically that qualified within the top few positions get a chance to go out and then make sure that they cement themselves right at the top of the standings. But it's Quiche from Lenz, Lacco, Hahn and Albertetti. That was the top 5. And there you go, only 1.5 seconds covering the top 5. 1.7 seconds off the top spot was Steffi Halm. Then we had Stefan Fass, René Reinert, Andre Kersim and Theo Calve rounding out your top 10, 3 seconds off. Then it's Jamie Anderson and Shane Brereton with Heinrich Clemens Hecker and Alia Koloc, Thomas O'Rourke at the back of the pack. But you can see them now lining up ready to go back out to use up what's left of the Goodyear tyres. Of course, as I said before, one of the main partners of the championship, as well as Alcoa Wheels, Smart Witness, Kogel Trailers, Ford Trucks and Iveco as well. And it's worth mentioning as well that the official pace truck, or the official truck of the European Truck Racing Championship this year, is the Ford F-Max, which is the 2019 International Truck of the Year Award winner. And it serves as the ETRC's official truck this season, like I say. And it's great to have them partnered with the championship and, of course, showcasing their absolutely wonderful machine as part of the series. You can see the heat haze, though, just how hot it is at the moment in Budapest. It's just got to 12 o'clock local time. Bang on midday right now. So the sun will be at potentially its highest point here and heating up the circuit still all the way through the afternoon to the close of today's action. But it's that man that we see there in the number 41 machine who will be ready to set the benchmark. Out they go then. You can hear the air horns and everything as fans are welcome around the circuit again, which is great to have. You've got to love it. Awesome to see fans being allowed back to the circuit. And there they are as well. Loyal fans out to see some of their heroes. And of course, Norbert Kish in the number 41. So here comes the field for Super Pole 1. Kish will lead them around as again they just get used to how the circuit is developed. You can see going with him there actually Sasha Lenz in the number 30. Sasha quite near the front of the queue as opposed to last time where he was right near the back. Speaking of the back, Theo Calve was the last truck that we saw go out on the track. The number 20 Freightliner from Bagheera. You can see the high up seating position in these things. It really helps them actually for racecraft, and obviously visibility as well is potentially one of the best things about these trucks. Is the fact that the drivers can see so much and they're so high up. You're not sort of sat on the ground as if you're in a Formula car, you know, with very little visibility to your sides and around you. There's the very pretty number 11, Iveco of Andrei Kurzim. Just behind him, here's Theo Calve, who we go on board with now. You can see they're not really doing any weaving or heating up of the tyres. They're just having a bit of a warm-up lap just to assess the situation. Now, the races are rolling starts as well, so it's all about the drivers reacting to when the lights go out and getting their foot down hard. We have the top 10 now. Any of them can take pole position here. So it's like a reset button for those that have originally qualified in the top 10, and this will cement the positions for later on in the day. So as we see then, Kish going around the final few corners now. You can see more of the fans in the grandstands there, giving our cameramen a wave. Brilliant to see. Great to have fans back at motorsport venues in what's been a very challenging couple of years. Now look at this. Norbert gets a really wide run through the final corner, plants his foot and gets on with the job at hand, powering his way down the straight, followed closely by Sasha Lenz in the number 30, and then just behind, I believe that's Adam Lachko in the 55. It is. Again, horns sounding in the background as everyone cheers on their local man. Oh, a big step of oversteer on the way in there by Kish. You could see him chuck the steering to the left very aggressively. Great save. The tyres working very hard indeed. Powering his way down to turn 2. Bit of a lean there. You hear the turbo spooling down. Leaning on the right tyres a lot. Those Goodyears are working hard, I can tell you that. They will be all season. Great speed out of there. Here is that oversteer again. Look, you can just see he chucks the steering left. The whole cab moves around on top of the axle, and he manages to save it. But it's a little flick like that that can make all the difference, because while they may get slightly sideways, it's all about carrying momentum. It's basically the fundamental of motorsport, is carry the speed. There's number 23 going through of Alberthetti, number 44 of Steffi Halm, and the 24 of Stefan Faas. Let's hope he's fast today. In the earlier session, he was of course inside the top 10, as all of these drivers were, but stuck in the middle a little bit, essentially, was Stefan Faas. And there is Theo Calve in the number 20 machine, going up towards turn 5. As I've said, not an easy place to get right, turn 5, because it's all about carrying momentum around a long, long corner. You can easily over-adjust or make a mistake by going too slowly in, too quickly in, and then you've got to be versatile through the corner to make your way out without losing too much pace. Teo working those good gears hard. You can hear the squealing from inside the cab as well. But that's a really good audible cue for the drivers. They know when the tyres are potentially over-rotating. Either that or they're under-rotating with understeer. Chucks it into the right-hander, which is turn 12. It doesn't look like much of a steep corner when you get to it on the circuit. I've driven it a number of times in the sim, and it doesn't look like you really have to slow it down. It looks like it could potentially be a kink like turn 4, but no, it's a 90-degree right-hander. He's gone through turn 13 into 14, a little bit of oversteer on the way in there for the 20 machine. Hard on the power, a little bit of a slide from the back end, nicely held, and across the line he goes. But unfortunately for Calve, he is 10th at the moment, 3.2 seconds off, and it's Kish from Lens by over a second at the moment. Jochen Hahn third, then Adam Lachko in fourth. Then there's half a second back to Steffi Halm, and then Alberthetti is in sixth place. It's also really close between Reinhard Fass and Kurzim as well. But Norbert Kish getting the job done in front of the home crowd in that wonderful red man. Just hear turbos galore. He'll be really, really pleased with that, Will Norbert. It's a special thing to be going well at your home circuit. And he'll be reaping the rewards, I'm sure, when we get to our 2 races a little bit later in the day. Race 1 local time will be at about 1:30, and then race 2 will be 2 hours later at 3:30. There are the fans again giving us a wave, certainly enjoying the show. But there is Norbert then on his way in after a very successful session, taking pole position by over a second from anybody else. Jochen Hahn certainly moving quickly to come back into the pits. As I've said, for the last 9 years, Jochen Hahn has either been champion or second. It's an incredible record, and he's described on the FIA ETRC website as a template for other competitors in the Iveco S-Way. But he'll be hoping for a little bit more come the race later on. Third place, though, only a matter of thousandths of a second off the top spot. It looks to me, actually, like he's going to go for another one here. He may as well. He's gone to the front and he's cracking on with it. So I imagine that Jochen Hahn was potentially going to be coming in, but no, they've actually gone for another lap. Or at least Jochen has. Yes, Norbert's gone with him as well. He was just hanging back a little bit to get the clear air. So what can they do? Steaming down into turn 1. Not too much body roll on the way in. Oh no, big slide on the way in for Jochen Hahn. He's just overdone it on the brakes. So easy to do though. It's slowing them down that's the really difficult bit. These are over 5 tons of machinery. And unfortunately for Jochen, he's overdone it at turn 1. Now he needs to make up for that over the rest of the lap while still improving on his overall time. Look at that, kicking the back end out as well. Hard on the power. Norbert Kish is really leaning on that front right through turn 2. You've got to think that might be where he's making up some of the time. Not really worrying about scrubbing off speed and just keeping the truck hooked to the inside. Through the kink at 4. This is Jochen Hahn now on maximum attack. He wants to push hard and get truck 1, P1 for round 1 in Superpole 1. Towards the chicane he goes. A little bit of a kick up of dust on the way in. Hard onto the brakes. Turns it hard right. Doesn't take too much curve or any at all. Takes a bit more. Now here is the slide coming out of turn 2. You see he stamps on the power now. The back end tries to get away from him. Bit of a drift. Great to see. Awesome that you can still drift machines as big as these. And that's why you've got to absolutely love it. And there's Norbert leaning on that front right. I tell you what, if it was any lower profile tyre, it'd get ripped off the rim, I'm pretty sure. So, back towards us again, Jochen Hahn. Currently his best time is a 2:19.326. He's going to be hoping to at least get into the 2:18s here. Long left-hander at turn 13. Needs to be careful on the power again. On the way out, a little bit of corrective oversteer. Hard onto the brakes to the final corner. Takes a wide entry to get a good run across the start-finish straight. Keeps it within the white lines. 2:19.3 to beat. It's a 2:20.3. He's a second slower than his fastest time. No improvement either from Norbert Kish behind. Let's see if anybody else jumps up the order. The number 30 remains where he is. That Sasha Lenz stays second fastest at the moment. Same with Adam Lachko. He will stay in fourth. Fast doesn't go up the order either. No improvements really coming in here by the look of it. Alberthetti, Calve, they all set similar times to what they did on their first laps, but all within about a second slower of that. So it looks to me, as we wait for just the two final trucks, which is Steffi Halm and René Reinhardt, to come across the line. Actually, Halm's come into the pits. And there is Steffi in the number 44 Schwaben truck machine. Or Team Schwaben truck, I should say. I think René might have come into the pits as well. But there's your man, Norbert Kish, in the number 41 Reveish Racing Team man. Pole position for the later race. Of course, race 2 of the day is a reverse grid race, which reverses the top 8 from the previous race result. So if you win the first race, you go to 8th on the grid for race 2. And if you finished 8th, you start on pole and everybody else gets reversed in between. But a great first session of the day. You can see the crowd think, right, time for a burger now, as they as they head back up the stands. But I imagine it's incredibly hot there. You can still see the heat haze as well. It's hot enough in my office back here in the UK as well. And I imagine it's nice and hot down there in the pit lane too. But fans still out there enjoying themselves. Again, I must stress how great it is to see fans back out at circuits. And I don't mean just a handful of fans. You know, we've got a good number of spectators here, all enjoying the show. And I'm sure all very grateful to be back out there. And they're the team, the Reveish Racing team of Norbert Kish. They'll be very happy that their man is on pole position. And I'm sure Norbert will be very happy too. He's also got the Hungarian tricolor on his wing mirrors there, you can see. As they crawl their way back round now, just making sure that they look after all of the systems and everything they can to get back into the pits. But it was a real shame there for Jochen Hahn to really go for that pole position lap at the end, and turn 1 was his Achilles heel, unfortunately. Just overdid it, and from there the lap time never fully recovered, and he ended up a second off his fastest time. And now they all make their way in. It's great to see the different shapes and sizes of all these trucks as well. The different configurations, obviously having the cab over the front, having the long nose of the Freightliners as they make their way into the paddock. Team members congratulating all the competitors at this point. And there you can see two of the definite title protagonists for this year, the numbers 41 and 1. A lovely 3-point turn now demonstrated by Norbert Kisch. These trucks are still very functional, you know, they really, while they do take quite a lot out of them in terms of, you know, things like aircon and whatever else, all your fancy bits, they are still very functional just as trucks, as themselves. It's fantastic. It really is. They're very close to the trucks that you do see on the road. Like I've said, 5.3 tons is the minimum weight, and over 3 tons of that must be measured at the front wheels. It's incredible. Just to point out as well how close to the normal trucks that you see they are, it does actually say in the regulations that they must be fitted with an audible warning that sounds when the reverse gear is engaged. So obviously with their size, it's best for safety to still include that sort of feature. And we have the wonderful drifting bikes out on the circuit. I heard them earlier during practice. And in just a moment, we'll hear from Christina, who will have some interviews for us from down in the paddock. And I said earlier that I hope she's got her sun cream on, even more so now, as despite Norbert Kisch being the fastest driver out there, he gives him a few attempts to get up onto the weighbridge, of course. But as mentioned, 3 tons over the front wheels, 5.3 tons minimum weight. And your pole sitter will be very, very pleased with that one. All the members of the technical team doing their checks.
Competition at all. Director.
Bike riders. Out on the main straight there. You've got to love that. And there our onboard shot with Theo Calve showing the precision required to even just get one of these things in the awning there with the number 11 of Andrei Kurzim. You can hear the audible warning as mentioned before. The team just helping him, guide him back in. There's Jochen Hahn crossing the line. Unfortunately, a second down on his fastest lap. And Norbert Kisch doing a wonderful job at putting it on pole. But I believe right now, as we throw down to the paddock, we'll have Christina for an interview.
Yes, and with Adam Lachko. So you finished 4th right now after the Super Bowl. How is it, the first race for you?
It's not bad, but for our car, it's very hot and very slippery, but I think very slippery for everybody. We're fighting a little bit with setup on the free practice, and now it's 4th place, and we will see how we do something in the race.
So any chances for the podium?
I hope. I hope we do something little bit change, and we will see how we finish.
Could you get a little glimpse of the atmosphere, fans sitting in the stands, finally back on track? How was it for you driving?
Yeah, finally after 1 year we see some fans, and I think it's perfect. It's perfect that somebody coming and it's not worry about the coronavirus, and we are happy, and thank you for everybody who coming.
Thank you for driving. Thank you for the interview.
Thank you.
Back to chess, and yes, I've got the screen on.
Thank you very much, Christina. They're speaking with Adam Lachko, and we will just in a moment get a word with Norbert Kisch. But there is your first grid of the season then. Norbert Kisch takes pole position from Sascha Lenz with Jochen Hahn and Adam Lachko 3rd and 4th. Steffi Halm will start 5th ahead of Antonio Alberthetti, with René Reinhardt in 7th ahead of Stefan Faas. Then it's Andrei Kurzim and Theo Calve rounding out your top 10. Those are all the drivers that took part in the Super Pole session. Awesome stuff from all of them. But I believe right now we do have Christina with Norbert Kisch, our pole sitter.
This is your hometown country, lots of pressure on you, and you've got a, yeah, I think so, you said yourself, but you got a happy face I see right now.
Yeah, it's the result that we were hoping for and that the result that we were working for, so I'm really happy for the team that here we are again and on pole position. Of course, it's still not a done deal because the points are being taken on the race, so you know I still have to do 2 good races today, but yeah, so far so good, we are happy.
And did you catch a little bit of the atmosphere? The fans are in the stands back cheering and having a really good time.
Yeah, of course. I am really happy that they are here and I could see them. And when I was going out on my out lap, I waved at them. And yeah, it's really nice to see them here again and feel the whole thing. It's nice. I'm really happy.
The fighting for the pole position was a tough fighting because Jochen Hahn, for example, he had a good lap, he was on a good way, but he could not achieve to overdo his performances. What do you think about the race? Will it be a tough competition?
Yeah, I mean, from what we see now, the gap is quite safe, I'd say so. So obviously the start is always, you know, a different thing and a difficult thing. So yeah, I have to have a good start, stay in front in the first couple of turns, and then we should have the speed to stay there. But you know, it's racing, everything can happen.
You're racing for Reves team since last year, but due to the shortened seasons, we did not fully acknowledge it. So how is it working with your team?
Yeah, it's great. It's I mean, it's the greatest team I've ever raced for. You know, and what we achieved in such a short time, you know, since the beginning of last year, I think it's quite something. And I'm not sure if any team in the history of track racing did that they come here and they win in the first year and they were leading the championship in their first year. So yeah, I'm really happy that we could do this, and I'm really proud of the team.
See, but you raised the pressure yourself. But that's really great. You're very competitive. All the systems are running well.
Yeah, everything is great. So yeah, that's why I think we can be, you know, a little bit optimistic. It's looking really good so far.
Optimistic, I like. Thank you very much for the interview. Optimistic, we are too. Chaz.
Thank you very much, Christina. Smashing stuff there from Norbert Kish, getting the job done in front of his home crowd, and he will be over the moon with that one, as we heard there. But that will round out our qualifying session, and of course, Superpole. The grid is set for the very first round of the championship here from the Hungaroring, and you can see this wonderful, beautiful setting here, where we are very, very grateful to be spending the first weekend of this great championship. The first race of the day will be coming live to you from about 1:30 p.m. local time. That's when we'll be back with you, of course, to cover everything. But for now, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Like I say, we'll see you at 1:30, and have yourselves a good afternoon. We'll catch you in a bit.
Yes, we do. Thank you very much, Chaz. Love your commentary way. And so we're, as you see, everybody is ready, set, go for a little break, a little adjustments on the truck, and we will see ourselves soon. So tell your friends that we are on live streaming right now, starting at 1:30, as Chaz already said. And so have a good time until then, and see you soon. Competition at all. Director. Okay.